My name's Andrew. I quit my corporate job to start a business in a foreign country, and we are here in a new farm installing $25,000 worth of poultry equipment. They say projects like this always take longer and cost more than what you initially expect, and that is exactly what we're experiencing here. We're on about month 7 of getting this farm built, well over the initial timeline and creeping over the initial budget. That said, we have gone from a piece of raw land to now having a structure built and the equipment starting to get installed. Every delay has been a lesson learned, but we are now several steps closer to having a functional farm up and running. Let's take a look. So we're gonna go check it out, see the progress here and what state it's in, and hopefully this will be up and running in under 2 months. I feel like I've been saying under 2 months for the last 6 months, but we shall go see. Come on. Okay, we made it right on time. There is a bigger crew here. Foreman there. Good morning, sir. Oh, look at the pup. Hi, pup. It's like a little Nova pup. We already have 2. We don't need 3. She's got a little yap to her. This is a new addition here that's just started that hasn't been shown yet. Here we're having kitchen, bathroom, common area where we will receive people. So this may actually get done before the farm, which is unfortunate. And then we'll have some sort of house, like a prefab building where we can sleep and stay somewhere around here. So we'll kind of have the full barracks set up for us, but this will be more so for receiving any visitors, and employees have a kitchen, bathroom they can use, etc. So you need to accommodate yourself and the people working here. There are more people here than last time, which is good. We're a little concerned about the pace of the progress, but it looks like a lot more people than the last time I was here. See, there's been a little bit of land dev here. You can now drive up alongside the farm. Before there was kind of a little ravine coming through here, but that's all been flattened out. It's not like pretty, but cars can drive up here. We'll probably lay down some more gravel. You can see they've built the doghouse, is what it's called. The area where the cooling pads go has been built out, covered with the roof. So the cooling pads, the cooling effect is called evaporative cooling because water gets sprinkled down the cooling pads, evaporates, has a cooling effect inside of the farm. And the water that does get put along the cooling pads comes from this little crevice that's being put in here. So you put a water pump in there, and then you can turn it on and have water drip down, and that is what that is for right there. You don't always use that because it can make it really humid inside, and you could potentially overdo it with the cooling effect. And like once the cooling pads are wet, they're wet. You can't unwet them. So you got to be more cautious in how you use things like that. But here in the Philippines, when it's really, really hot in the summer, that's an important tool you have in your bag to cool down the temperature. And it looks like the flooring is all finished, which when it's first being laid down, I was a little bit skeptical of how smooth it was going to turn out because they're manually mixing the concrete and laying it down, and it looks laborious and it looks a little bit crude, but let's go see how the final product looks and if it's smooth. They also made this door probably about twice as wide as it was before, so let's see if I can get my fat ass inside. See, the canal has been lined with concrete wall here, and it's looking relatively finished. So this just helps with the water drainage so we don't get any flooding inside of the farm. And obviously we'll have a better step inside than this when we're done. Oh, here's the concrete. Flooring looks smooth, smoother than I thought it would. This is like, if you grew up in Canada, you see a room like this looks like it would be perfect for a game of road hockey back in my day. If you notice here, what you see is a bunch of men at work getting shit done. It's a beautiful sight to see. Some gaps in the ceiling here, but that'll get fixed. And you may notice, look at this wall, smooth. And then look at this wall. See, you can see the pillars in it, right? And that is because this concrete wall was already here when we started building from an unfinished project, but part of it collapsed. So this would be the rebuilt new portion of it, which looks a little bit different from that portion over there. Same, you see like some thing coming out there, which was part of the foundation that was already here that we just kept. So it's been a big cost saver. Some of that cost savings diminished because this wall fell, but you know, how symmetrical the walls looked wasn't a huge concern for me. We're just looking to save a bit of money and get this farm up. And you see here, there's some indoor drainage. A lot of farms I see have this ripped down through the middle of the farm. Ours is along the perimeter here. And you can see the drainage pipes leading to the outside canal there. So again, especially in the Philippines, it rains I mean, unbelievable in rainy season. So you need good drainage, or else you can certainly get flooding in your farm. And you hear a lot of people have their grows just destroyed from bad typhoons, bad rain flooding their farm. We don't want that shit around here. And this is the tool that they use to smooth out the wet concrete, I believe. Let me take this thing for a spin. So you see here, he's increasing the width of the door, similar to the one we just walked in. And they're also painting the walls in here, which I just noticed. So walls will be white. The outside will be white as well, I believe. So you don't want to have super dark colors here in the Philippines because it's just going to absorb all the heat from the sun and it gets crazy hot. So you'd rather the light be reflecting than getting absorbed into the building. If you notice what he's wearing on his feet, those are steel toe toes. He might be the tallest guy I've seen. The tallest Filipino guy, also in flip-flops, as he should be. It's our guapo foreman here. Ang galing. Putting in good work here. There you go. Salamat, sir. Salamat. Hey, he's running a tight ship down here, making sure everything's getting done. So it's good having people like that, because then we can ask random questions like how long he thinks the rest of the land will serve us, how many buildings we're going to build within here. So somebody with some knowledge, which is good. And he's got one of the deepest voices I've ever heard. And that just comes from working with your hands and smoking Chesterfields every day. You get the manly voice. Okay, and you can see here a little strand of the glass wool insulation that's up there. You don't need to insulate your farm. There's many farms that don't. The farm that we were running earlier did not have an insulated ceiling, but what we found is that it is increasingly difficult to manage the temperature inside if you have no insulation whatsoever. So we were making sure this one was going to be insulated. But this is all the glass wool insulation we have left over. We have a lot of it. Potentially we might be able to use some of this for our little prefab home we're going to put down here. Watch your step coming in here. Watch your step, guys. I don't want you to get hurt. Here we are. We're inside, second floors. That's where the stairs will go. You can see they're about to start laying down the flooring. Let's go check out the bottom floor here. Hey. Oh my God. Might take a third one home. Maybe that'll be a dog at the farm. We'll see. Wouldn't mind a couple nice puppies hanging out around here. So we'll go take a look around the other side of the farm. You see the road we came in down there. Bathroom, kitchen, common area here. Just give me a little recap here. Don't get lost now, pay attention. We had the left side of the farm, cooling pad up there, little window there, and the workers' village here. Even this has developed and progressed. Little community area here. It'll come together. This will make a bit of money. We'll make sure of it. Oh, you'll never get this started. Take a look. And you can see the rest of the land here. Like, this is all land that can get developed. That'll be later down the line, but there is some space here to start building a little compound over the next many years or so. Like projects like this, capital heavy, you scale these things over years, decades of time. So we're not looking on a time horizon of months to get this done. We'll get one building done, then we'll potentially be in a position to scale up, take on some leverage, and start building out the compound would be the idea here. But stay tuned. You'll see if that plan comes into fruition or if it crashes and burns and fucking things go terribly. It is what it is. We live and we learn. So we'll catch you in the next one. We're back at the site. It's only been a few days since last time we were here. We're trying to be here more frequently to make sure shit is getting done faster than what it has been. We'll be friends eventually. See, the stairs are starting to be put in here, which is nice. Walls are starting to progress here. Yeah, it's wrapping up. The idea is that really trying to get the inside done, because anything else that needs to be done on the outside, the canal, any land development or whatever else, can be done simultaneously while the equipment's being installed. So we're looking to get just a prefab, like container type of home, put here as like our own little barracks where I can stay and sleep and whatnot, which will be super convenient to be able to like essentially live here on site. So we'll be able to use some of that for a ceiling roof insulation. It's just a matter of finding a good supplier for these homes. The price differences is absolutely crazy. You go to some people, they offer, you know, a little simple prefab for like 1.5 million pesos. You go to someone else and it's like half the price. So yeah, there could be some quality discrepancies, but that's what we'll end up getting set up here. I just want to play some road hockey out here, but instead of playing hockey, we'll be raising Manok. It's even better. That's them carrying the concrete over to actually start filling in that area right now. So they are strapping it on their head not even strapping it, they just balance it on their head and walk it over. So manual labor is alive and well over here. There's still men in this world, okay? You know white shoes is a bad idea out here, but the pups chewed my other shoes and my other shoes. A few pairs of shoes. But we're gonna go up there, starting to look more finished. It looks way better now that we're getting some paint on there. When it's just concrete, it looks pretty rugged and pretty crude. So there's a couple of farms we may be looking at renting, and one of them had no paint, and it looks rougher than it actually is. So some paint is a good aesthetic touch. We'll be back next week, and we're starting to put the equipment in, which should completely change what the inside of the farm looks like and really start giving a feel on it reaching near completion. Hot as frig outside, so we may end up going to the beach here for the first time. See this skin? See how pale that is? This is like too long in the Philippines to be looking like this, but we'll catch you in the next one. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back for another one. We are going to the farm. We're stopping by the bank right now to see what our options are for getting construction loans and land acquisition loans, because we won't be getting more buildings up without taking on some serious debt. So we're going to talk to some banks and see what our options are, starting with a local bank here in the province that is, I think they work with the government in giving out agricultural loans. So we'll go see what they can offer us. Here we are. First visit to the bank, I think. Oh, look at our pups are in here. Seemingly feasible to get some debt there. Just need to put together a feasibility plan, essentially a business plan. I'll dive into my corporate brain. We'll get a financial model going. We'll build in the loan into the model to see what our debt service coverage will be. And they're going to say, wow, just take all of our money. And that's the plan. So we're looking at basic terms here. Pretty similar to what you get in Canada. 80% loan to value, 7 to 9% interest roughly, and a pretty generous 1 year grace period while construction is on the go. So seems fairly fair. So we'll put together, the original plan was just one building, but maybe we'll try to just put together a juicy plan to really build a compound there, and then we'll see what they can do for us. If they say it's too much, then you'd rather start high than ask for too little. Okay, we've arrived at the farm. You see it's looking cleaner, it's painted, which we'll see in a sec. Here we are. Oh, it's looking way cleaner. There's just something about like almost the most simple parts to it, clean it up the most. Like just painting the outside, we show up and it just aesthetically looks a lot more complete. Not that that matters whatsoever, but it's, you know, it's nice to look at. You want a new farm to be optically pleasing. Let's go inside and see what's up. So this is the cooling pad area. Cooling pads over here. Hammock for the Kuya. Kuya, kamusta? Let's go take a look at the equipment. A little more set up than it was. Water line, feed pans here. You've seen in past videos me talk about how we want this ridge in the feed pan and the feeding line so the tray doesn't sway when we raise it. And this is exactly what that looks like. So you can see on the feed line here, it's got this metal ridge going down at the middle, and that'll slot in the feed tray here. So then when we lift it up, it stays secure and you don't have chicks coming in one side and it swaying up and swaying the other way. That was something we realized in the last farm and was kind of a last minute change that we made, but I'm happy that is a small feature we got included here on this new equipment. Just so you can see the scale of the equipment. This is a small farm as well, by the way. So you saw we had water lines there, more water lines there, and more water lines here. And we have, I'm not sure what kind of bulbs we have. We probably don't have bulbs with us right now, but we want something that illuminates quite well. We won't have the dim type of technology here, which is whatever, maybe on the next farms. Maybe after we secure a big fat loan and we're swimming in debt, we'll look at some features like that, but not right now. It looks like the flooring has been done down there. That was what we were waiting for last time on the bottom floor. We'll go check it out the bottom floor. And look, we got a little sorry store. A little business within the business. In this space is a lot more cleaned out, so you can see how much room is in here. So what will likely be the setup is we'll probably have 1 or 2 Kuya standing here. We'll have feed storage here, obviously. An auger will be here somewhere, and then potentially may try to section this off so somebody has more of like a room. You could probably have 2 people stay here, and then their bathroom and kitchen is just right outside would be the idea. So that's always a consideration when you're building farms here, is that your core employees will be living here. You need to keep that in mind so you have a kind of habitable area. Look, see Nova over there? Pig pup. Okay, you see these long orange tubes that are being put in. See all of the electrical is being funneled through there. Power lighting, see over there, that'll go to the control panel. See this where the fans will go here, and then the frame is being put up for the little house where the fans are. So this will be covered with screen similar to the cooling pads, and then this looks like a door that's being put in. So there it is. It's obvious, but I'll just show it to you anyways. You see the feed line here, and there is they'll have to put in, there's a lock that goes in that space there, but the bare feed line looks like this. A hole for the feed to dump into the pan along the feed line. So you need to make sure that the pan is lined up here. Otherwise, you've probably seen videos, you get spillage and leakage that comes out. And then that little plastic lock, if that breaks, then there's nothing to stop the feed from going into the pan. And that's why you see at the old farm too, we're like wrapping it with feed bags and stuff when we're not using it. This is the lock part that I'm talking about here, which slides in here, and it's like that, open, push it, closed. Simple manual mechanism that works, but sometimes those do break a lot. So we'll see how durable those are. It is TBD, the integrator we're going to be rolling with. Don't tell anybody in case like we haven't found another integrator yet. But so we'll see who we end up rolling with. Sometimes you just want to try some different people just to see the difference in, you know, service and payment and whatever from different integrators. So we'll see. But until next time. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're back here at the site. There's a lot going on. The equipment is starting to get ramped up here. Start the tour here down at the bottom storage room. What you can see here is the little barracks here. The flooring's put in on the left side here, and then the right side is starting to get complete. So you got our water tank here, rust proof. All the flooring's been done. This is the main hopper here. So this will be down here. The feed will be up and go through the automatic feed lines, of which we have 5. We actually got a call yesterday and they couldn't find this, so we thought maybe it didn't get shipped out, and there was a little 20 minutes of stress here. But that's 800 kilogram capacity auger, freshly put together. Let's go check out upstairs. They used to have a little basketball net on there, but not anymore. Okay, so the control panel is partially set up. It's not fully wired and in position, but voila. Controls for the fans, for the feed lines as well, and that's where you can put your any automated temperature settings and whatnot can get put in there as well. And then we have 2 variable speed fans, which we'll have some control for somewheres in here. I'm honestly not sure if that's getting built into this panel or it's a separate little thing. We'll find out after we talk to one of the installers, but that's what's happening. You can see it's actually looking like a farm now. Feed lines set up, feed pans on, the little lock on the pans on. When they're brand new, they slide so nice, but after some time, those get a little more crude. Water lines set up here, coming close. See that? That's the nipple. You can see over here, they're putting in the winch that you use to crank up the lines, heighten them, lower them as you need, especially during harvest time and whenever you're cleaning and stuff, you end up moving up and down. So this is what runs through the feed lines and essentially twists and shuffles the feed down the line. So in case you're wondering, how does the feed actually move through the line? You're probably not wondering that, but let's pretend you are. This is what the mechanism of action is. Fuck. I should know better than that. And at the very back here, you see the fans are being put in. Our 2 variable speed ones we're putting on this side, 2nd and 4th position here, because we'll do brooding on this side. So we're putting them here so we have an opportunity to take advantage of them throughout the entire cycle. And you can see the 8 other regular fans. Let's go take a look at them up close, but this is what's tying the farm together, I find. You start putting the equipment in, you get the fans put in, it's starting to look like a more functional building. So these all had to get assembled here. They came in just its parts. Had the screen on the outside, and then there'll be panels, shutters on the exterior, so no air can flow in and out while the fan is not in use. And if you're coming close, you can see the material. It's like a thin metal. This is them sliding this into the slot right now. Looks like it might be a little too big. Okay, and then here are the shutters. So essentially, you have the fan, you'll have a cone on the outside of it, and then it'll have that covering the end of the cone, and then when the fan turns on, the shutters will open up. Just kind of like a plexiglass, plastic, a little bit thicker blades on it, but this is essentially rust-proof material, which should be more durable from what I've been hearing. We only got 2 of them because these are like, I mean, way more expensive than the other ones. Like, for example, these other ones are probably like, I don't know what they're like, $300 a pop, and this is more like $1,500. So huge difference in cost. So we got 2 of them just to try them out. We could have got 10 regular speed ones, but we just want to sample these and see how they are. Now on to a few things that are pissing me off just a little bit. So we have septic tank getting in, but I just feel like the final touches of this farm have been taking so long. It feels like it's looked the same, like, for a really long time. So this canal still needs to get done, which will hopefully get done soon. The septic tank, we'll walk over and take a look at it. And then they're clearing out some of this land over here on the side. You can probably see the buckhoe. I think it's moved, but let's go take a look at what this side looks like. And here is the side where the harvesting's being done. You can see it's a little flatter. As people have mentioned, everything's just sloped right down to the farm, and it's absolutely true, and obviously I can see that as well. So we'll put the canal around to help with drainage, but we're scraping down. It's like really hard, like rock essentially. It's not just like soft mud on the side. So we've scraped down anything soft on the side here, and then right behind the farm, we're gonna flatten down quite a bit after, because the fans are blowing out this way. This will block some of the airflow potentially. You could potentially get some backflow back into the farm, which we don't want. So we'll flatten this so it's not as steep of a slope, and then you're not risking like landslides coming down into the farm and stuff, because it gets really wet and windy during rainy season here, and you don't want to be a victim of just shitty land development. That is a priority. You guys notice it. I see it too, obviously, and I don't want this, you know, I don't want land dev to our farm more than you want to see it. Septic tank over here. Come take a look at what this looks like. It is deep down, so watch your step, because I may not be able to go down there and fetch you. But that is deep in there, so yeah. He's thinking about a week, 10 days to get this finished, plus the little house for the generator. Probably a temporary house that will improve once we get the rest of this compound built out. But yeah, ideally 10 days between those two, and then we need to get the electrical going from the generator to the building, and we need to get some posts put in for that to get done from the, what do you call them? Utility company is gonna come do that. Exciting and frustrating all in one, because you can see it coming together. But at the same time, when this first got started, I remember we're thinking like, oh, March, it'll be done. And we're like, oh, you know, maybe it'll sneak into April. And then April starts going by like that, and you're like, August. So anyways, whatever. To be honest, when we first started this project, we had no idea what we were doing. So the fact that it's even coming along is a bit of a miracle here. So happy to see the state it's in, the progress being made, despite being slower than we'd like. Nothing catastrophic has happened. So there's lots to be happy about, lots to be grateful for. And we thank the man above for everything that's going on here, because these are some blessings happening here. And even the wall collapsing, that could have been, that was almost a blessing in disguise. That could have been more of a nightmare if this building was farther along. The weather hasn't been anything, you know, there's been typhoons and stuff, but nothing has really hugely impacted the area. You see earthquakes and stuff around the Philippines, nothing has really smacked down hard where we're at. So yeah, in a world where a shit can go wrong, we sit here with moderate shit going wrong, but things that can be handled.